So we send about 3.8 in every day, and we bill for about 2.6, 2.8. It's annoying. But we have a couple of leaks. We're gonna continue with the leak detection. Hopefully we can, do another third or a fifth of the city next year again.
But some of that non-billable water, is that also like city uses?
Nope.
Or that's,
You're not.
we're billed but not.
No,
No.
you're not billed. We
Right.
write it off.
We bill all meters.
But they're all metered.
Okay.
So it's
So
metered
that-
consumption,
so that's
and it's in that
included
number.
in that number, okay.
We write that off at the end of the
Right,
year.
okay.
And it's
So it's
about,
basically leaks.
the leaks are under registration and meters.
And under registration.
And the big meters, it certainly could be under registration in some of those big meters. And, we've gotta find a way to get those replaced.
I can understand not doing it this year, but.
Oh, I mean, with everything going on,
You
it's,
can't do it, but,
it's,
but it's a big number to lose 40% of your consumption, every day.
it's crazy.
I mean, it's crazy, and if you got into a drought situation,
That would be your answer right there.
that would be, yeah.
We're, the good news for us is the variable cost of our water is really low. We don't have to do a lot to treat it. So it's not the biggest, so the leaks don't cost as much as the water that we're missing in the meters, because that water should be paid for at a retail basis.
No, that, you're losing revenue.
Right.
You're losing a lot of revenue.
Right.
And that revenue you're losing could be used to upgrade a lot of stuff, and
Yep.
you wouldn't have to float the bond issues. If you had enough revenue coming in.
Well, or if
Then
we
you
had
set
more
it
money.
aside.
Yeah, if people, yes, if people were using what they, but I was very surprised that our domestic meters are 92% efficient, so.
Well, that's good.
How much of the water, of our total water, comes from the smaller meters versus the,
3% of our meters are what I consider to be large meters, and 30% of our water passes through those 3% of our meters. Funny how you didn't set me up for that question, but I do look at this stuff all the time.
That's a lot. I mean, 30% of the water
That's just-
goes to 3% of the customers. And those large meters are the problem.
They could be.
Could be the
They're
problem.
been identified as, and they're the ones, traditionally they do under-register, and they're complex. So, I mean, for about $250,000, it would cost to replace all our existing ones. But as I say, I think right now we've got, with Cooper looming and Vinnie Water and the SCADA finishing up, and,
You've got a lot on your plate.
well, we all do, and
Right.
it's just, and the money, I mean, Cooper Lake is.
we talked before, that our
It's kind
bigger
of a
bang
lot.
was to go on the larger meters.
Right.
Yes,
And not
yes.
worry about the
And
smaller.
then radio
smaller.
everything.
And you'll do the larger ones are your target, obviously.
Yeah,
but-
yeah. Matt and I
Okay.
talked about that the other day, and, we'll look at the grant opportunities.
So do we have an opportunity, at least when some of these larger facilities do renovation work? Can we mandate that they
That's another option.
change the meter as
You,
part of the work that they're doing in the building?
well, yeah,
Is that a policy we could pass to make it
I think
so
it's
that
something
that's
we
the
should
case?
talk, yeah.
Because then we're seeing a lot of people renovating some of these larger facilities. Like, I'm not sure how, the Mary's Avenue campus, for instance, that may be one of the newer ones, but maybe not.
No.
And so, like, they're
that
about to
meter-
do $100,000 or
That
$100 million
meter-
renovation
That
project.
meter stopped in that building, and I had to threaten to, I can't, I have to be certifiable to threaten to shut the water off in a hospital. But we threatened, and we would, and believe me, fine them $50 a day, because every 24-hour period, we can fine them another $50. That adds up quickly. They have a valve, we can't change it because one of their valves is broken. So they're finally dealing with that. And so that will be changed.
But like, as those kind of big projects, like, that's where we can help too on our end with the building department. And,
They've been wonderful,
we can
but you're
also
right.
help put some pressure on some of these bigger establishments when they're doing a switchover to.
Well, even things like these small boutique hotels use a lot of water.
Sure
And
they do.
restaurants use a lot of water. So when they do those kinds of renovations, they should put in new meters.
Well, they are.
Okay.
In
And
those
they're not huge,
Well, but see, yes, because they were either a small meter and now they need a bigger meter. And what they all need is fire protection. I just sent all their backflow applications back. They missed some stuff, but yeah, we're reviewing those now. So we'll have an opportunity to do that. Other communities, big meters should be tested every 5 years, where a small meter could go 10, 15 years. And so we could, with that policy, I will do some research, and see what other people are doing, but I think it probably would, that they would have, I don't necessarily want them to go out and hire somebody to test the meter, but maybe we would charge them to go in every 5 years and test that meter, otherwise they'd have to replace it.
Now, if a residential house, this takes the average house, if they were doing a gut renovation, would they have to replace the meter?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. And the other thing is, when we have someone complain about a high read, my bill's too high. It has to be your meter, it can't possibly, and it's ignorance. I mean, they want it to be so, and they really don't understand any other way it couldn't be. There's no way that I could use that much water. And we can it's usually in the toilet. But anyway, we'll never change the meter for a complaint, because that's just silly. Because then they stop using the water, or they find the leak, and they say, "Told you so." Now you owe me. So nobody in this business will do that.
No.
No. So, and our policy is, we'll go and we'll help you look for a leak, whether we find it or not. You still have to pay the bill. We don't advise people, if it doesn't go through the meter, that they should go to DPW, but oftentimes other people will advise them of that, or if they ask, we'll tell them. But it's not, we don't usually counsel people to do that. And then we tell them that we have a policy that, and it was adopted by the board many years ago, you can have your meter tested. But you have to come, we'll take it out, you have to come with us, you have to witness the test, and then we're gonna put it back in. And it costs you $75? Maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's 125 now. But we've been doing this for the last 45, 50 years, and we've never had to give that money back. So, anyway, and we tell people, if you don't want to have that meter tested, that we're not going to refer you to the board. Because that would be the, well, because they haven't followed procedures and policies, so.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to reduce the lost consumption over time. I mean,
I won't.
I know it's your aggravation. I mean,
Well, yeah, just.
But I look at it every month and I thought, oh my God, all this water. There's a number of, I think when we're done with this transmission main project, I think we're gonna, we'll have found at least some of the leaks. Okay.
There's a lot of water coming down that hill, but it looks a lot like ours.
Okay, so
So we need a motion to accept the superintendent's report?
I'll make a motion to accept the report.
I second it.
Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Motion to go into executive session?
Okay, so I can go over the motion.
And I'll second it.
Okay, those in favor? Opposed? Okay. Executive session?
Is the reason
Going in to talk about a contract issue with Tech City.
And they also have a personnel issue that I need to discuss with them.